Fine, mate. One sec. Let's get rid of that. There we go. How we doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, mate. Yes, I appreciate you taking the time to jump on here with me, and yeah. So obviously, I see you post the other day that you're looking to be shutting your main shop.
Yeah,
going to be taking on private work, which is good.
Yeah, so it'll be a lot less stress.
Yeah.
Loads
What's the reason behind that? Is it just because obviously just due to the financial way the world is really?
Pretty much, yeah. Cash flow here this year has been so bad. It's just like I've had hardly any service work, any small repairs. It's just been, and then the overheads just keep going up and up and up. Material price goes up, and I'm like, I just can't justify charging more an hour all the time. So I'm like, just you know what, I'll get out, have a break, recoup, and then do something a bit smaller.
Oh, yeah, that's it, isn't it? So where so obviously I see, like, diving into a bit of the history of obviously like your shop and that. Obviously your dad started it before, didn't he? Is that kind of where you carried it on? And where did it all start with you?
So Dad started this place in 2005, and then his health has sort of gone downhill quite quickly. So then I took it over last October. I mean, before that, back in 1984 or 85, him and his best mate had a chopper shop in Stone Market. It's exactly the same problem I've got now. No cash flow. People had no money to spend. So it only lasted like 2 years. And then, he took this back over. I started this in 2005, and then I took over last year. So it's been fun.
So when you started it, did you then change the name from Solo Choppers to Heron Cycles then?
Yeah. Just so it's a bit of a rebrand. So we had I used to get it all the time. We go to bike shows and stuff like the Kickback show and things like that, and people come up to me. Oh, do you only do choppers? I'm like, no, I do everything. I do calf races. I do a motocross spot. I'll do everything. So I changed the name because everyone thought we only did choppers, and I'm like, I'll do everything. You got the money, I'll do it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, obviously you guys are pretty much renowned over for like your 60s, 70s style, raked out frames, long front ends.
Yeah,
which is cool.
We've done loads of calf races though and stuff like that. Motor Guzzies, mostly Beamers, stuff like that. But I've done everything. I've done some weird stuff, some fucking weird stuff.
So what's your preferred style then?
I don't know really. I like 70s long choppers. Just like my bike really. I like fully molded frames, long forks, obviously rigid, super skinny, like lane splitter type bars. You can get through traffic quick. Yeah. Just stuff like that, but with like modern brakes.
Yeah. I see. Like, I think I said to you in the message that I come across you on Tomboy and a bit. YouTube channel. I saw your bikes on there because, like, obviously you also liked a lot of high performance and like in the engines, and they seem to be tuned up and
a little bit. An old standard old shovel's gutless. So like 70 mile an hour, sort of flat out. They feel like, and then fucking just going along and we're gonna get there. No. Yeah. So I don't hot them up too much, just so they're nice and rideable.
So what's your usual like go to when it comes to doing engine work then?
So in my one, I've got they call it an Andrews AB cam, which is like a mild cam. Solid push rod conversion or lifter conversion, just decent pistons. Mine's got racing valves in it, only because when I was doing the top end, Storehouse didn't have normal valves and collets in stock, but they had the race valve set on my offer. I was like, oh cool, I'll have race valves in, fuck it. And just
do you notice the difference with them?
No.
No,
they just got holes drilled in the collets to make them lightweight, but my bike's sort of extra metal that doesn't need to be there, so it don't really make any difference.
Yeah.
But that Super E carbon electronic ignition, that's all.
So I see like looking through the history on your page and that, like, am I right in saying that you had your first front page feature when you were 18 on 100% Biker?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I built a little Suzuki chopper.
Yeah. What was that like? Like to see your bike on the front page of
mate,
a well-renowned magazine.
When you're 18, it's like you're on top of the world. It's like, and I had a model as well, and I was like, oh god, they had to actually ID me to make sure I was old enough to have the model shoot.
Wow.
Because I had such a baby face as well back then. They were like, is he legally old enough to be in it? I'm like, yeah, I'm 18.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But yeah, good. Really good. I think at the time I was like the youngest ever cover feature they'd had as well. Then since then some younger people went on there, but yeah, at the time I was like the youngest, so that's pretty cool as well.
Yeah, that's and it's quite cool really, because like I say this is only my 11th episode of my podcast. You're actually the second guy that I've had that's made the front page. So I had a guy called Robert from Canada who made the front page of Backstreet Heroes back in 2012 as well. So
yeah. I've had loads of cover features. Shovel was on my blue Heron was on the cover of the 40th anniversary Backstreet Heroes, which is pretty cool.
Is it? I actually do. It's the front cover, is it?
Yeah, the 40th one. Yeah, they've just done the 45th.
Okay. Yeah. I think I've actually got the 40th down there as well. Can you grab me the under there, mate, please?
I've had loads of cover features, to be fair. Last Shovel was on the cover. I've had a few cover features and that, and we're all over them. I've been in loads of weird magazines across Europe.
Have you?
Yeah, I'm in a few books as well.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool, man. So what? Because you're obviously still considered quite a young chopper builder in today as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I just turned 30 in July, so I suppose I'm still young.
So that's the 40th anniversary, isn't it?
Oh, that's the 45th one.
45th. Which month is the 40th?
Well, I don't know. It's 5 years ago.
Oh, right. Sorry. 45th. Yeah. Sorry, mate. Yeah, I've got the 40. Yeah. Because it says 40 years on the front of this one here.
Oh, does it? Or maybe I was in the 35th then.
Yeah, look.
Oh, I might have been in the... okay. I was in the 35th then.
I don't know if you can see the 40. It just says 40. Can you see it there?
Yeah. No, 35th year. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. Sorry, mate. Yeah.
I don't know where it is. I've got a copy here somewhere, but I don't know where it is.
So what's obviously? So you had your first front page feature when you were 18. Like, what did you kind of think it was gonna? Where did you think it was gonna go from there? Like,
don't know really. Like the custom world.
Does it feel normal now?
Yeah. It's just once you've had a few of them, I don't know really. It's still exciting, when you see your bike on the cover. I suppose the only thing is you don't get magazines in shops hardly anymore. Like we have a petrol station outside work. Yeah, like the fuel station outside work used to sell Backstreet Heroes, and I'd go in there and I'd be like, "Oh, that's my face on the front. I'm in this. I'm on that. That's me." But
crazy.
Yeah, no, it's still a buzz. But obviously not as exciting as the very first one.
So it's because obviously like now, like you've got back 100% biker that I believe I don't even think they're still going in the UK now, are they?
No, that shut down I think about 5 years ago, and then Nick from 100% Bikers took over Backstreet Heroes now.
Oh, okay. So I mean, I think, do you know, I was having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and I think it's going to come back round. I think it's going to take time, but like I think it's going to become like, to be able to sit down and read a mag, I think people will miss it.
Yeah, I think so. I think everyone, the internet's great. I love the internet, but it's also ruined so much as well. Like, for like us parts wise, we've got loads of parts dealerships, but because people can sell it online from home, they don't have the overheads. And then I miss on, people go buy it from other websites and stuff because they get it cheaper, or like clothes and stuff will come in the shop, try a jacket on. Yeah, that fits perfect. And then be like, okay, I might come back and buy that. And the next, you see them like 3 weeks later, they've bought it off Amazon or something. Like, so it's great for a lot of stuff, like YouTube tutorials. And I mean, I use Google all the time for stuff. I'm like, I work on like everything. Yeah. So I'll be like, how do I get this Honda scooter apart? I'm like, I'll have to just quickly go on Google and have a look rather than waste an hour trying to figure it out.
But I mean, I think really, like looking at the fact that everything's easily accessible, I think that what it does do is the people that are generally of a wealthier bracket that want to be the more elite, which probably in the long run are the guys that actually you want to be entertaining. Because obviously I can imagine that when you've got someone coming to you with, I want a knucklehead motor, that's obviously, and I want an original motor, which obviously you have to source it. I want this frame, I want these forks, I want these parts. And obviously you probably know pretty quickly which guys are actually seriously got that type of money. And I think that obviously the elite people want to be the guys that are showboating online. So I think, unfortunately, even though you're taking that it kind of comes in waves, I think that you end up entertaining the people that you probably want to be entertaining. I don't know, that's the way I mean,
when I downsize, I want to be like, so I'll be working from a farm unit, but like 3 days a week, sort of by appointment only.
Yeah.
But then that way, because I won't have hardly any overheads, I can actually pick and choose a bit more what I want to do as well. Yeah. Because like at the minute, I have to just take on anything that will pay my rent, basically.
Yeah.
And you end up taking on some jobs. You're like, why did I do this? I'm like, I'd rather be stacking shelves or doing something, anything rather than doing this job. But so I've never actually, I don't know why. I've never had the people come in with like the big bucks budgets. We've always got the people who've got like I don't know, like $3,000 to $7,000 sort of thing. We've done a few bikes, don't get me wrong, have been like fairly high budget, but I never get anyone come in, what a knuckle, what a pan, and I don't know why, but I tend to end up fixing other people's problems instead. They're like, oh, I wish I'd known about you first. I'm like, oh, like somebody else got all the good money and I've just got to fix all the problems.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I got a friend, I don't know where he's having it built, but I know he bought a panhead motor with a gearbox. I mean, I'm not going to even attempt to know the ins and outs. I mean, I know what a motor looks like to recognise it, but I'm not going to try and say that I know this part and that part. All I know that the engine and gearbox alone was £7,000. Yeah, and it was supposedly got every bit that you need. It's got a rare as hell primary. It's got the ones with the groove. I think you've got a bike on your social media page where it's got like the grooves in the side of the casings.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I can't remember the name. It's apparently a really famous, well-renowned company who make these primaries and things. But like he's already like 15 grand into a build, and the guy is like putting back a year, and he's pulling his hair out. He says the guy's great. He said, but this bike was supposed to be built to be featured this year. It's just crazy. So it's like, obviously, like you say, you're getting people, then you're having to fix other people's problems and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, other thing for me, a lot, I put my hand up. I'm a sod for being late on a bike build sort of thing. Just because you can't, like, if I build a bike, any chopper builder will tell you cannot charge the hours you work on it, like, at all. If I make an L bracket, say I make an L bracket with 2 holes in it and round the edges off, it would probably take me nearly an hour to do it nicely. But nobody's going to want to pay me like 50 quid to make this tiny little bracket. So I end up charging them like half an hour, and I'm like, you do it all the time, or you'll you get aftermarket parts that do not fit, but at all. All right, Rob. Aftermarket parts don't fit whatsoever. So you end up modifying them to make them fit, and you're like, I can't charge for that. It's not their fault that part don't fit. So I lose so much time on it, and it's just a nightmare. But it is what it is. Like I say, you'll put hours into a chopper build, and like say my bike, for instance, it's just all fully molded and that. If I want to charge a customer for that, I'd have like 300 hours in that thing probably. Well, nobody's going to want to pay 300 hours worth of labour.
Yeah, that's it. And it's we got here. Nobody will want to pay for the actual hours you worked. Yeah, you're right, Austin. Yeah, it's obviously. I suppose you have to kind of. I mean, I don't have this problem, but I do with my tattooing. I don't charge an hourly rate when I tattoo because I'm slow, so I don't want people to feel that I'm ripping them off. So I give them a set price, and that's I give them a day rate, and it's like it takes as long as it takes, but. But I suppose it's similar.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing. It's like, because I do it all on my own now as well. And like, customers come in. I mean, I'm here like 10 hours a day, but I probably, you probably work half of that, because I have a customer come in, you get phone calls, I have to order parts, and I'm doing this, doing it. And then we have like a little social club seems to come here, like a load of old dudes who come and have a chat. And I'm like, I love it. I love the social side. But I'm like, some days I'm like, I really, really need to get on today. I'm like, but I'm too polite to tell them to sod off. So
yeah, that's it, and I suppose.
And the other thing as well, you've got to give them time of day, because one day that bloke might come in and be like, oh yeah, Jay, I want to have a shovel head built. So, you've always got to give people the time of day, and I always make sure I do. But hopefully having the sort of private workshop, we'll be able to do more in less time. Yeah,
I think so. I mean, it's and then obviously the fact that people will be able to know that you're like dedicating more time to them, they feel like more special, because obviously to a lot of people that not everyone has like millions of pounds where they can just go and sink like 30 grand in. Some of these guys might have saved up for 40 years, got to their retirement age and gone, do you know what, I'm going to have this bike that I've always dreamt of having built by Jay. And then obviously you can dedicate your whole time to them. You're not entertaining people in your shop.
Yeah, exactly. And I won't, I'll be able to, as well, because I'll have less overheads, my hourly rate can come down a bit as well, so everyone gets better value for money. And then, because I have, they call it imposter syndrome, I think, where I never ever think I'm good enough. So I'm my biggest critic. I criticize myself all the time. But then when you have to turn stuff out fast to try and get the money in to pay the rent, my rent at home, do this, but I'm like, I always do a good job. But I'm like, if I'd have spent another hour on that, that would have been so much nicer. So when I'm when I haven't got the overheads, I can spend extra time on it.
But also, you said, that same attitude is what's taken you to the next level.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Please tell me where the ideal world is. I can't find it. Right, that's it. It's not. No, but it's it's like you say, it's being able to dedicate more to the single builds and things like that. I've got. Let me try and see if I can get. I'm still learning this new social media platform here, so I've got.
On me.
bear with me, mate. I do apologise. I've managed to add to the stage. Here we are. So I've got your social media page on here.
Yeah.
There we are. We're here now. So obviously, this bike that's on the main, your main poster here. What's the story behind? Is it a CB 750 motor? Is it?
Yeah. So. That's we didn't actually build the entire thing on that one. So that one that's from Belgium. The dude come all the way from Belgium. It's really cool. But it was a CB900 originally. And then he wanted to put a CB750 single overhead cam engine in it. Had long springers in it. He wanted to put girders in it. And we basically just rebuilt it. We made new oil tank, battery box, different tank, mud guard. We basically rebuilt the whole thing. The only thing, to be fair, that's original was the frame. I even made the girders, which I've never done before. And I'd like to do another set, but it's so much work. But yeah, so
so when you say like there's so much work in that, what are you talking? Are you talking like making sure everything's true and things? Is that where the time comes in?
Yeah, I mean, they were just a prototype set, so. Me and my mate Joe from Rigger Engineering, he designed me some yokes for it, which are a pain in the ass to make as well. Just trying to design them, because so many different types of girder yokes, and I've got an original set of Durfee girders, which are like proper 70s American ones, and we sort of copied their design a bit, but altered it because they're so pretty. And then the bit that takes the time is just jigging it all up, making sure when you weld it, nothing twists, and it's just I mean, once you've done it, it's probably quite easy to do another set if I made a proper jig, but I just done them as a one-off, as an experiment. So, I mean, they've worked out well. We'll see how they hold up.
See, when I saw that, like, obviously, it looks great. I wondered what's on it, because I wonder, like, what's the story behind that particular bike being on the first bike you see on the page, because like the stuff that's like your other stuff, obviously I believe this one here, this is this your one, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my one. Yeah. Really, I only put the Honda on the main page because it's our latest build.
Is that your one?
Yeah, that's mine. Yeah, the Blue Heron.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. That's my. So yeah, the Honda's only on there really because that's just the latest one we finished.
That's cool, man. That's cool. So with this one here, what are we talking? As in, modifications to the frame? Is it like rake front end? And obviously, I know it's a rake front end, but like, how much did you modify? Sorry, is what I meant. How much was there?
Everything. So I don't know if you can see it in that picture, but like just above the front rocker cover, there's like a bamboo bit on there you can see. So basically, the only bit of original frame is about from the top of the motor to just the gearbox. The rest of it hardtailed, stretched. It's got 45 degrees of rake in it. So yeah, the whole frame basically, just a bit. Cool, that's basically the only bit that holds the motor in the gearbox in because it's just easier than trying to make a jig and line it all up. But yeah, everything on it's one off pipes, one off everything. The only thing
I heard you saying previous. Sorry, mate. Yeah, I was going to say I heard you saying previous some of the stuff on social media, like that actually handles well. Like you can throw it into corners and.
Yeah, that thing. When I built it in the jig, I always work out the rake and trail on it, so it handles as best as it can. And this one's we've done 2 long shovels. We've done a red one, which is almost identical. Sadly, it got written off like 4 years ago. But yeah, the rake and trail is bang on. So this thing, I can get the foot pegs on the floor. It proper goes round bend. Yeah, it's good. My foot hits the floor before the foot peg.
So Jay, for people that don't know what rake and trail is, I mean, like for me, for example, I understand what the rake is, but what is trail? What do we mean by that?
Rake and trail is it's basically like I don't really know how you call it. So if you run a line through the headstock, straight through the center of the headstock to the floor, and then you drop a center line from where your spindle is to the floor, they should sort of like like overlap. Okay. And basically it should be between 4 and 6 inches the gap. So if you run your headstock down for the floor and then where the headstock hits the floor is behind the center of the wheel, that will handle like crap. And if it's too far the other way, it'll also handle like crap. So basically it makes it feel like you're riding on a knife edge.
Okay.
Or the other way around, it makes it super floppy. Like you'll see a lot of dudes when they have they'll put my forks in like a stock frame, and you'll see them and they'll be like this, and it will be like all over the place. So it's just working out the geometry really, and it's just like an equation they figured out back in the day. Yeah. I mean, if you look at that on my social media a little while ago, I posted a Triumph that Dad built in the 80s, and the rake and trail on that. But in the 80s, nobody knew about rake and trail really, or not really, because there was no such thing as internet. Some guys did. But the rake and trail on that is miles out. But they just wanted it to look like a chopper, so they raked it right out. And there's a video of it actually if you go on YouTube's Linker Attacks 2013, there's a video of it going down the road, and you can see him wobbling all over the place. And apparently up after 30 mile an hour, it sort of straightened itself out. But so yeah, but like mine, the rake and trail is bang on, so that just goes around like it's on rails. Yeah, but yeah, it's quite an interesting thing.
That I can't seem to find it.
It's Bob's Triumph.
The one that was built back in.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. So if you actually look on the if you see a side picture of it, you can see that the headstock angle points at the floor, and then the forks kick out like that. Which is basically just back in the day. That's the one, yeah. I don't know if there's a side view one of it, but if you it's easy to see on that one like how far out it is because the headstock is pointing behind the spindle basically.
Yeah.
And that, like I say, it looks cool, but they just handle so bad.
That's why I picked one. It kind of gives you an idea. So that one didn't handle, like you say, from before 30 mile an hour, it was.
Yeah, like wobbly, floppy. Like I say, there's a video on YouTube of it somewhere. But that bike is still on the road, exactly as it was.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah, there's some guy in Somerset thinks got it. I put it on I posted it on a Triumph page the other day, and all the rivet counters come out. Like, you fucked that bike up, that's sacrilege, blah blah blah. And I was just like, got a load of slander on there from all the rivet counters. And then I thought I'd wind them up a bit more because it was actually
I'd love it, mate.
Jubilee. Yeah, it was a Queen's Jubilee Bonneville as well, so it was like a 1 year only model. And it only done 800 miles. So it's even better. It's got like a fully black motor, so it's like a super rare model. But yeah, Sodom.
The thing is haters create better content. When people hate on it, it's even better.
Yeah, it's just like they're like, oh, it's sacrilege. You fucked up a Triumph. I'm like, there were so many Triumphs built back then. I'm like, one's not going to hurt.
Yeah, they ignore the fact that there's like containers full of them in America just sat there rotting away. Yeah. Well, they don't really rot; they just bake away. They get even drier and crustier. Yeah. They ignore that, Yeah,
it's mad. I mean, there's millions of them about. People are still finding them in people's sheds and that all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, we had one just over the road here like 2 years ago. Some guy come over. Oh, could you get my old Triumph going? It's been in my shed for 30 years. And I drive past his house like every day I go on a test ride. I didn't know it was in there.
It's crazy.
Literally over the road. Yeah.
And then you find out it's a special one as well. And you're like, that's been there all that time.
Yeah. I mean, there's still stuff about. We found a Vincent once in a hedge.
Yeah. Cool. Was it what, the Bruff Superior or?
No, it was a Vincent 500 Comet. It was actually an HRD, so pre-Vincent Comet 500.
Wow.
So some guy come in the shop, like full chav gear on. Had his bright white trainers, full tracksuit on. Some old dude, and he was like, "Oh, my father-in-law has just died, and he's got some old motorbike in the hedge. Would you like to buy it? It's a Vincent." I'm like, no way. Well, Dad actually bought it in the end, but Dad was like, no way have you got a Vincent just sitting in a hedge. Oh, I've got a picture of the tank, he said. So showed us this picture, and you can see it's an old British tank, but it don't look like a Vincent. And so the guy was like, oh, make me an offer on it. And we were like, well, I can't make you an offer. How much do you want for it? I'm not going to bid you on it. And he was like, oh, I don't know. And Dad was like, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $2,000 for it. We'll take a punt on it if it is a Vincent. We got down there, I think it was Kent we had to go. So drove all the way to Kent. And he's like, oh, it's in the hedge. I'm like, what do you mean? Because his granddad had parked it up in 1965 against the hedge, and then the hedge grew around it. So we've gone in there. I've gone in there with some shears, and there's this Vincent in the hedge. Luckily, the old dude had put some bricks underneath the motor, but it sunk in the mud down to the axles. But the motor didn't go in the ground, so it kept the motor safe. But I mean, it was fucked. I've got some pictures of it somewhere. I mean, it was fucked, but it still rolled. Like the wheels still went round. That's how well they were made. And we sold that at Bonham's auction. It went mental, absolutely mental. And I'm like, why would you want to pay this much money for this bike? It is fucked. I'm like, there's not anything really salvageable on it, but somebody loved it, so I went for really good.
That's it, isn't it? It's just like the way it is now. I was talking to someone I know that he said, his mum used to ride a Vincent, and he said he doesn't really know bikes, but he was like, I'm sure it's got like a name, like a weird name. And I was like, was it Black Shadow? I showed him a picture. He's like, yeah, that's what she had. And I said, do you know how much they're worth? And he was like, no. I said, I know she sold it for a couple of grand, like back in the early 2000s. And I was like, a rot box on wheels is $15,000. And he's like, no. And I start showing him. I'm like, look how much a Minter is. I'm like, what are they? $100,000, $150,000.
Yeah, it's mental, isn't it?
It's absolutely same with same with old cars, isn't it? Even like 90s cars, people that used to, like a Mark III Escort,
Yeah,
it's an XR3's. I know it's a car, but a car that there was so many of them back in the day. They're a $10,000 car on their own now.
Yeah, I know, it's mad, isn't it? I'm just like 10 years time, Citroen Saxos will probably be worth loads of money.
This is what I mean.
I'm like, oh, maybe they buy some and store them somewhere.
Well, it's like, it's like with I've never owned a Harley. I mean, at one point I'd like a Harley, but I've never understood the price range. I mean, I look at a Harley and think, oh, that looks nice, and it's like $5,000, and then you look at something and go, oh, that looks terrible, and it's like 18,000, and it's like, but why? You know?
Yeah. I think the thing that annoyed me the most is like. So, like, if Sportster was always the entry-level Harley, you know, that's the one that, like, the young people tend to, you know, start off with because they were really, like, affordable at the time. And it wasn't even that long ago. Like, Sportster was a cheap bike. And then that's the sickness page sort of come about. And then Sportsters just went up and up and up. And I'm like, Sportsters are making more. Evo Sportsters were making more than Shovelheads at one point. And I'm like,
I mean, your entry price for a Sportster now, what, $4,000 for a rock box?
Yeah, you know,
with a 4-speed box, it's still $4,000, $5,000.
Yeah, I've seen some for about 3.5 now, but I'm like, they've come down a bit. But when my first Sportster was an Ironhead. Dad bought me for my 21st birthday. So that was 9 years ago, and that was 1,800 quid, and we thought that was a lot of money as well back then. And like we used to buy Sportsters for like 1,500 quid, like all day long, $2,000 all day long. You know, and people didn't want them. They were the entry level bike, and now, you know, you can buy a Softail or a Dyna for the same amount as a Sportster, and they're a much better bike.
Yeah. Did you have all the usual problems with you? I mean, to me, like I like the look of the Ironhead. I like the fact that the cylinders almost look like a shovel. Yeah, you know.
I had all of the issues.
Did you?
Yeah, big time.
Is there way? Because to be fair, it's like we had there was a hardtail. It was a bit of a. I mean, it was a great built bike. It was in my shed, like growing up. It was a hardtail frame with like jack wheels and forks and an Ironhead motor in it. And even then, it was still frowned upon. What is the reason that why aren't they like? I mean, because they look a great motor. So
what Ironheads have. Ironheads are good if you look after them and you ride them like respectfully. Being 21 years old, I rode it like a jack bike, and so what happens is in the gearbox, you got obviously your 2 gear shafts. They only go in the engine case, and they're like in a little bronze bush, and they go in the engine case in like 10 or 15 mil. So they're hardly even in the casing. So basically, I was told by a guy I know called John Gibson years ago, who's like the shit hot engine guy from around here. Is like basically what happens is when you downshift, the 2 gear shafts naturally try to spread apart a bit. And so what happens is the gear shaft will either knock out the bush, and then the gearboxes just explode. And lo and behold, my one did.
Wow.
Yeah, what happened? First and second gear went on my one. That's right. Yeah, so I had to ride it back from Essex in 3rd and 4th gear, which was great fun.
Is there a cure to them?
No, nobody does an upgrade. They do they call it like a trapdoor, which is like the plate that holds the gearbox in. You can buy an aftermarket one, which is supposed to help a lot, but basically, well, from like my opinion anyway. On an Ironhead, if you just ride them, you know, don't thrash them through the gearbox, you know, don't engine brake like you would on a jack bike, just ride them gently and they go for it. I mean, my mate Joe had one. He rode his all the way down to south of Spain in a week, and then had to come he got all the way to the Super Rally, and it's a little rigid chop, all the way to the Super Rally, to then, as soon as he got there, ferry company rang him and were like, we've cancelled the ferries this weekend. He's like, well, I've got work Monday. So he rode all the way back from Spain in 2 days. And his little bike never missed a beat. And like my best mate Max, his little Ironhead, we built him good as gold. You know, we've done thousands of miles on it, but you just treat him with respect, and then they respect you back, really. But that's pretty much it, really. I mean, the charging systems aren't the best on them, but
are they 6-volt on them?
No, they're 12-volt, but the early ones up until when did they change? Something like 82, they went to an alternator, but they've always had generators on them. So same as gen doubles, pans, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all right, but they just don't charge great, and they give you a bit of jip. But there's upgrades you can buy now, which are much better.
So have you had the luxury of having to work on any of the new Harleys? Because I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about some of these the new Milwaukee engines and the new CVOs and things like that.
I've only done service work on and I've done some handlebars on one on the Milwaukee 8, and then like the later twin cams. I just don't like anything with fuel injection, because it's not even the fuel injection that's the problem; it's everything around it. They just got sensors, this, that. You have to plug it in. It's like having a car. Like, I had one in here the other day. It's got that CAN bus wiring on it, basically it wouldn't start. I changed the handlebars on it for the guy. Had it for a couple of weeks, and it stopped starting. And I was like, starter button's packed up. So I've never worked on one of these CAN bus ones before. Took the switch apart, and it's got a circuit board in there. So then I put a new fuse in it because it had blown the fuse, and then the circuit board just burst into flames. I'm like, brilliant. I'm like, what's wrong with having some wires? Because they have 6 wires come out the handlebars anyways. I'm like, they haven't really saved anything, just made it really complicated for everyone. But yeah, I'm not. I don't like new Harleys. They do what they're supposed to do, but they're, you've got to be a specialist or have all the gear and that to fix them. And I'm not into that.
Yeah, I mean, if it's anything to go by, like what YouTube's saying, I mean, I think they're upsetting a lot of their diehard customers, aren't they? They seem to be heading down more of a route to just profits instead of the culture and the passion. But again, I'm only going off what I see on social media. It seems to be they're upsetting a few people, I think.
I mean, I know a lot of my customers who've always had Harleys. And, I mean, they're the sort of guys who'll buy a new bike sort of every 3 years or whatever, and they've gone to Indian now because I think they just get better value for money. And the
What's
new Harleys
don't. On the new Indians.
I've not really worked on many of them. I've done a few. I just don't like new bikes. But I think value for money, their build quality and what you get for the money is a lot better than a Harley nowadays. Like after 2008, Harley's paint just went to shit. They didn't put primer on it. They just basically we're just painting basically over bare metal. And the amount of Harleys you get there, nearly every Harley after 2008 will have rust on the front mudguard, rust on the rear mudguard, and then you basically have to buy new ones because they just rot through real bad. And you're like, and then they do silly stuff.
Crazy,
yeah, like Harley used to use .5 brake fluid, which is just pure silicon. It's expensive. It is. It's like 50 quid for a litre of this stuff, but it doesn't damage paint whatsoever. It doesn't rot out seals, doesn't damage paint. So they've gone back to .4 now, and then they had loads of recalls on all around the paint, all around the master cylinders, all blistering off. Yeah. And I'm like, so you haven't saved anything now. You've just cost yourself loads of money. But I don't know. I like the older stuff, up to 99 sort of Evo. Last year of the Evo, really. They're easy to work on. And the thing is, like, you can put all these big hot motors in them and stuff, but you can get an Evo. You can spend like a few hundred quid on an Evo, and you can get an Evo to fly. Like, you just need to know which parts to put on it, and then they just fucking rip. Like, and you don't need to go faster than that. I mean, everyone always goes, "Oh yeah, my Harley's well fast," and I'm like, "No, it's fast for a Harley. Yeah, it's not fast. It's fast for a Harley." I've got a 600 Bandit rat bike in here, which will piss all over any Harley on the planet probably. And it's just a 600 Bandit that costs 700 quid.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I mean, I had one dude come up to me once. He's got an old pan, and my shovel does shift, and he was like, "Oh, Jay, that's fast." And I had a ZX12R Street Fighter I just built for a guy, and it's 200. It was a de-restricted one. So it was like 200 brake or something stupid, and it would do 210 mile an hour. And he was like, "So I do 110 100 mile an hour in first gear." He's like, "How does it do that?" I was like, "Because it's fast." It's like, Harleys are not fast; they're just fast for a Harley.
Yeah. My dad's saying there that his twin, the new ones can't keep up with his twin cam.
No,
so it's
I mean, you can get a Harley to shift, but yeah, it does make me laugh. And, "Oh, my Harley's so fucking fast." I'm like, it's fast for a Harley. I mean, I've
not ridden one, so I can't say.
But then you don't buy a Harley to go fast on. You know,
I personally like the idea of so like it's only a 125, but I got a little 125 bobber that I built with a suicide shift foot clutch, or hand shifter foot clutch.
Yeah.
And I absolutely, to be honest, I've said to a few people, I actually prefer riding that than to my ZX10. See, my ZX10 just wants to kill me everywhere. It does, you know, it's a 1987 ZX10. There's, you know, no fancy stuff on it. It kind of, the way I describe the power delivery is, it's like giving a 2-stroke torque, and it literally, it's like, whoa, and it's just like, that's just what it's like. And I get more fun off my 125, but I also like the fact that people think that you can't throw it about. You know, you come up to a tight corner, bang it down a couple of gears, move your hand, grab back, and then you throw it in, drag the peg, and people just like look at you like, what's going on, you know? And I love the fact that making something that doesn't look like it wants to do what you're going to make it do, and do it. And that's what appeals to me with like what you say with your bike.
Yeah, I mean, I undertake people on the roundabout on my thing, and, you know, filtering, like me and my mates, we filter fast. You know, I love filtering because all our bikes are skinny, so you just put your feet on the motor and just whip through traffic like 60 mile an hour. It's great. But yes, thing is, it's like, you know, I have a custom bike because I want to be different to everyone else. But obviously, because I do it myself, I like to show off. It's not to show off, but it's just like, you know, it's like an artist. You know, artist paints a picture because that's what they want it to look like. You know, so I built my bike. And I think that's why everyone loves choppers, because you can make it exactly what you think is perfect in your head. You can make it like that. And, you know, my bike to me is perfect for me. That's exactly how I wanted it, and I won't change it. But it's nice as well, because it's like you go down the road and everyone's like, what the fuck is that thing? You know, the thing I get every day. Every time somebody comes and says, how would you ride it with them stupid handlebars? I'm like, well, same as you ride yours with your normal handlebars, just narrow, you know, handle as well. Like, you know, I mean, mine aren't even that narrow.
Yeah, and now you've made that comment, try and keep up, man.
Yeah, it's funny, you know. I mean, I don't ride it that fast, but, you know, I ride it fast enough that, you know. But I didn't build it to ride fast. I built it to go poodle about, because Suffolk's lovely. Like, our countryside is so good. Roads are shit. But roads are shit everywhere here.
Absolutely.
You know, you just ride it to go, just tootle about, and you sit at 60 mile an hour on it, or 70, sort of this happy spot, and you can just admire the countryside rather than just go flat out. I mean, like, some of my mates are into sports bikes, and all they used to talk about was, oh yeah, you know, I went round that roundabout 6 times and got my knee down. And I'm like, cool. It was like, well, I did 100 miles this afternoon because I was just having fun. You know, I didn't just go round and round, because I bought it just to ride it. I built it to ride it. Fine.
No, that's it, and it's you know, and I mean, I've seen, like, I've got a friend who's gone out with a mate. He's got at the time he had a VN 800 with Z bars on it. You know, so the front end felt heavy as hell when you weren't moving it. And my friend was on a FJ, a new FJ 600 or something of that nature. And they couldn't keep up with him. He could not keep up with him. And he's like, difference between a dude that's been riding 30 years and then a dude that's only just passed the test. Yeah. You know, I mean, for me, like, I don't have massive experience, and nor do I claim to, but like I think my 125 is the only bike that I've owned, somewhat built and ridden that's younger than me. You know, it's First bike was in a Suzuki GP 125 from 83 that when you brake, it turned sideways. Like, the front end was never true. It kind of just thrown it into corner and it's bouncing everywhere. And I think that's just the fun of it. And I think obviously new bikes, like, the fact that they're so electronically enhanced, it gives the delusion to people that believe they can ride. And it's not knocking them, you know, respect to them that they're going out there and doing it. But I mean, I was out on my ZX10 a few weeks back, and this guy went past me on a brand new BMW M1000. I think the 200 horsepower standard. And he's come up to a corner. I mean, you probably noticed yourself. Like, he's come up, dabbed on the brake, hasn't even had to move off the seat, hasn't had to try and set it up, and he's just gone in, overcooked it because but then he just dabbed the brake and been able to pull the bike back. Yeah, I'm on mine, and it's you know, and I was like, it's just, No way. I was like, that's enough. I slowed down. I was like, I'm gonna end up hurting myself. I've got nothing to prove. It's.
Yeah, the thing is with like your bike is like you actually have to ride. You have to ride a bike. Like that's why I like choppers. I like classic bikes because you haven't got all the fucking traction control, wheelie control, like ABS and all that crap on it. I'm like, you actually have to use your actual skill to ride a bike, and it's like, and like you say, you can't. I'm not knocking people who ride the new bikes because they're in pucker bits of kit, but you don't have to think as much on them. Like old boy Marky works for me, like back in I don't know, probably in the 80s when they put like vacuum caps on bikes. It's a silly thing, right? But any old bike, you have to turn the fuel off because otherwise it'll flood. And like it's when they went to fuel injection as well. He's always said is like they made it so everyone can ride a bike, which is great. But like I'm very old school, so all of my stuff is manual fuel tap, point. Well, actually, I run electronic ignition now, but I can do points and stuff. And points. Yeah, they're a pain in the arse, but
I tried it once.
Yeah, I mean they're good. I just like Dyna S ignition because it's just easy. But like, yeah, so they made it so everyone can ride a bike, which is I think it's fantastic. But then people don't learn to maintain their bike because they don't have to, sort of thing. The amount of kids I have come in, they've gone out and bought a new Chinese bike or whatever, and the chain is just like hanging on the floor. And I'm like, you really need to. A motorbike's not like a car. Like in a car, obviously you have to service it and stuff, but you can just get away with it. I mean, I never check my oil in my car. I'm a sod for it. I just get in it and drive.
Same.
But people think on a bike that you can do that, and you can't, because if your chain comes off, you're either coming off or your engine's fucked. Yeah. I mean, some of the stuff you see in a workshop is just like, you should not be on the road ever. I had one lad from the village, had like a Chinese YBR thing. He was I think my wheel bearing's loose. I'm like, all right. My mate said my wheel was wobbling, so I brought it in. The chain's hanging on the floor, obviously. Got it in, put it on the side stand, and the wheel just went like that. And there wasn't a wheel bearing. There wasn't one in the right-hand side. Like, not at all. All the bearings had exploded out, and he'd just been riding it like that with the wheel doing this. And I'm like,
oh no.
I'm like, mate, you should not be on the road. I'm like, if you didn't notice that your wheel is not even attached to your bike anymore, get off the road, please.
But then I suppose then that's kind of, it's somebody like yourself that's in your position to be able to educate them. It's like, because obviously somebody. The way I look at it is at least they're out there. At least. Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion as well, a lot of the problem is like when you go like to school and stuff, they push you so much towards computer-based stuff now.
Yeah.
Rather than actual manual labor, like not manual labor, but like nobody teach. Like if you don't know, like nobody teaches you this stuff. You can't go and find out how to change a tire, and you can't find it unless you. Well, I mean, you got YouTube now. I try and like when kids and that come in, I will show them how to tighten their chain up so they don't have to keep bringing it to me, and just keeps them on the road. But you don't learn any of this stuff anywhere, and unless you've got someone to show you, I mean, you're never gonna know.
No, that's it. I mean, and the fact that like, I don't know if you agree, but the way I look at it is like the government don't want us on the road anymore. They don't want bikes on the road.
No, they're making it so hard now for like tests and that. They're ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, what you're talking, average price is nearly £1,000 now to get a bike license, and obviously you can't even do that before you're 20. Is it 25, 23 direct access?
No, 20. I think it's 24 direct access. You can do your test at 19 and ride. I think it's at A2.
Yeah.
But then, so when you're like, or whatever, and then when you're 23, you can upgrade to direct access if you've had 2 years on the other license. Or it's like, I'm like, you've made this so complicated. But it's even like the kids. I feel for the kids on like the 125s and 50s who want to get into bikes. I mean, we've got like their insurance, man, is so high, and I'm like,
crazy.
High? I mean, we sold one of them little mongrels a few years back, and the guy was like in his 30s, right? So, but he'd never had a bike license, and for him to insure it was like like 700 quid for the year. I'm like, it's a one. Like, they're supposed to be cheap transport for people to get around on, and now it's like, so by the time he gets the bike, gets the gear, gets the insurance and tax it, he's like nearly $4,000 into this, and I'm like, bloody hell, you know. So like, it's gonna be cheap transport for people, but it ain't now. Like I say, they're just trying to get us off the road.
Yeah. Do you ride? Like, I'll hold my hands up. I don't ride in the rain. I've got no point. I don't ride in the shit weather. To be honest with you, my ZX10, my car's cheaper to run than my ZX10 for work anyway.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, what about you? Are you all year round or?
Yeah, I don't mind, to be fair. Basically, this year the weather has been the crappiest I've ever known it. So I went out with my stepdad's Enfield the other day. I borrow that sometimes. It's just like push button, go 650 Enfield. When we had we had like horrific flood in here. So I went out the day after and I was like, oh, you know what? I don't have any wet gear because I'm an idiot. So yeah, I just went out in the pissing down rain because I just needed to get out. But yeah, I suppose, I don't know really. So my stepdad's in the National Chopper Club.
Okay.
He's been in it 40 years now. And
cool.
They basically, living with him for like 15 years, he drummed it into my head about, you know, you got to ride in the rain. So I do just ride in the rain. It just sucks.
Yeah.
But
everywhere, I'm not even ashamed to admit it. I'm not even ashamed to. I love nothing more than on the morning, half asleep, on my way to work, cup of coffee, listening to my tunes.
Yeah.
Nice and warm.
I mean, I try not to do it out of choice. I'll put it that way. I'm like, you know, my chopper it's my enjoyment, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
My missus just rips the hell out of me. She's like, you wanted that bike, you don't ride it. I'm like, yeah, but riding it to work. And she's like, well, you complain that you don't get out on it. I'm like, but it ain't the same, like riding it half an hour to work, parking it, and then just knowing it's sat there all day. Like, it's like paint job's worth more than the bike probably. And, you know, it's like, I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, I don't. Well, thing is, I suppose as well.
That's saying it's because I'm a wuss. I don't think it. I don't think it rides is it in bad weather though. I'm just saying.
I mean, I ride mine through winter. The only thing I don't like is salt on the road because it just fucks everything up. But as long as you wash it afterwards, it's all right. But I won't ride in. I don't do snow and ice anymore. I'm past that.
I mean, it's not. I'm not even. I have done it. I mean, have you ever had your throttle cable freeze open because like that?
No, I never had one freeze.
Honestly, God, mate, it was. Luckily, I was only on my 125, so obviously, you know, you're doing a speed that you got time to think. I'm doing about 50 mile an hour on a dual carriageway, and I was just starting to come up towards. There was a roundabout junction, and obviously, I knew the junction was coming up, so obviously, getting ready to shift down, and all of a sudden, I've let go of my hand. Like, I've gone to shut the throttle off, and it's not the throttle itself's moving, but the bike's still revving, and I'm like, oh dear, you know. What we got is Zach riding on the range, just enjoyable, no shame. If it's not fun, then don't. Yeah, that's it, mate. That's exactly it. You know, it's. I don't have anything. And so I admire like my friend just commented as well. Lee, he came up to mine the other week, absolutely pissing down rain. He had like a 25, 30 mile run.
You know, it's not
like,
cool.
Mate, hat off to you. I take my hat off to anyone that does it.
Yeah, you know, it sucks. I mean, I only do it. Like the other day, I had to do it on the infield because I just needed to go and clear my head because I just had a bit of a shit week. But I'll only do it like if I'm going to a chopper show, it's already booked. You know, you just have to get fucking wet and just put up with it. Otherwise, you never do anything. What's Rob put?
Yeah, he's one sec.
Rob,
bloody hell, pal! I never ride in the ice or snow.
Oh, so you don't even ride a bike? He does really. He's got a little sporty.
Has he?
Yeah, nice little one actually.
I like Sportsters. You know, I said personally, you know, again, I'm not even going to try and talk like I've ridden a Springer. I've never ridden a Springer. I've never even ridden a hardtail. But I like the idea of a short bike that you can throw into a corner. I don't know. I mean, obviously, you're the man. Do you feel that it goes in? You know, when you tip it in on your Springer front end, does it feel like it hooks up that way? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Does it feel like it wants to like weigh out?
No, it's pretty good. Only thing with mine is because the rockers are really long on the bottom. I've had to put extra springs in it. Like anyone with a springer will tell you, like you hit a bump, they bounce, like quite bad. And then when I first built it, I didn't have internal springs in it because that's just how it come. And I hit the bump down the A14, like near Bury St Edmunds. The road is shit there. There's like 8 bumps. They're like speed bumps just down the 14. I hit one, and the front end come right off the floor, and I'm like, I'm gonna die. This is how I die. But didn't. But obviously, but yeah. So I put some new springs in it. But that's the only thing is just bumps on it. But apart from that, they ride. You know, they ride just like tellies. To be fair, they're just a bit bouncy. It's like having a telly. They're basically like riding tellies with no oil on them.
What's it like riding with a hardtail back end? Does it wreck your back? Like, because obviously you hear a lot of people say, oh, you know, they're like kidney killers and like spine breakers and.
Nah, they're fine. So it depends how you build them. So 70s style stuff, like you have the Avon Speedmaster tires, and they're like, I mean, I've got an 18 at mine, so mine's not too. I ain't got much side profile, but if you get a 16-inch Speedmaster, like the sidewalls like that tall. I tell everyone, run them at 25, and then you get a bit of squish in them. I think, in my opinion, like sprung seats actually make it more. I think they make it more uncomfortable. You tend to get a lot more sort of rebound on them. It's probably because I'm fat, and when I hit the bottom, the springs probably bottom out. But if you build a rigid to fit you properly, they're comfy, and that's all I've ever had. I've only ever had rigids. So I had a Honda Hornet. I've had 2 Honda Hornets, which I got rid of quite quickly because I just ride like an idiot. Yeah. But like my shovel, when we got the seat made for it, like my bike's actually an inch shorter than a stock, like a pan frame is in the back, because I'm short. I'm only 5'8". So I've got the forwards on it. I built the bunny bars exactly where I like stuck my arms out like that, and I'm like, yep, that's where the bars are going. And then when I got Jeff to do my seat, he was the fucking dog's doodads, but he's retired now, sadly. I took the seat down to him. He's only in Bury, so he's only like 10 miles from us. Got him to foam it, and I'll be like, I need to cut a bit more out of here and put a bit more here. And then my seat is so comfy, like it don't look it because it's only about that wide, but it's so comfy, and I'm just like, you hit a pothole on a standard bike, it hurts your back. Let's face it, potholes suck. But no, if you set them up right, they're fine.
Yeah, so I'm going to do on my 125 because I'm going to start using that for work again as well. But I want to remove the springs and have some bars machined, so to turn it into a hardtail like that. And I'm just like intrigued to know. What it's like.
For some reason, I think a strutted bike, like on a stock frame, seems to be like a harder ride. I don't know why. I think maybe because of the diamond shape on the back of a rigid frame, maybe has a little bit of flex in it.
Okay.
But you won't. To be honest, you probably won't notice it. Just run your tire pressure a little bit lower.
Yeah. That's, So obviously I see on your social media where you put obviously you're going to be moving to a private workshop, and obviously you said about that. What have you got any big projects lined up for the future? Is there?
I've got so for myself, I'm building a T140 Triumph chop, which is going to be pretty special. And since taking over this place, I've just not had time. It was all welded up. Was welded up pretty much ready to come up. Well, to go off for me to paint it. Well, I stripped it down last October, and I haven't touched it since. So I'm gonna get that done. I've got a old T120 Triumph chop. It used to be a Backstreet Heroes cover bike in the 80s to restore. Oh, nice. I've actually got Zach, who keeps messaging his uncle's GS750 chop to restore, which is quite a cool thing as well. Proper like 80s chopper. I've got loads in the pipeline. I'm building an Ultima chopper at the minute for a customer. The powder coat should be back tomorrow, so hopefully in 2 weeks it'll sort of be done. But I want to take a step back, get my passion back for it. everyone probably, I don't know, the same as you doing tattooing, everyone goes, oh, you're living the dream. I'm like, but when you're like, your passion becomes your job, and then you start losing the passion for it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I say I don't know what a bike. I mean, for me, the reason why I set up 666 Customs, because obviously my idea in the future is to video the bikes I build. I mean, I don't claim to be a pro builder by any means. You know, I'm a shed builder. I mean, I built an exhaust out of a bed frame. You know, I don't care. I'll just make it. For me, it's the fact that like I have people take pictures of my bikes, and it's like I love it. You know, I love the fact that they don't know what it is, and it's cost me a fraction of the money. But so like I said, for me, the idea with this is I feel that because of the likes of Discovery Channel that was massive. I mean, now you've got like Jesse James has brought out Outlaw TV. I think that there seems to be a bit missing in the middle for the middle guys. And I'm not saying that my content is reaching that level yet, but I truly do believe that over time it will. And I just kind of want people to, like, I know, like, obviously there's people doing what I'm doing on YouTube and things like that. But I think that there's that connection with the social media side that's missing. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm doing it for, and you know, trying to keep it going that way, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, that's another reason why I want to step back, because I'm like, you know, I lost a love for it, and I don't want to, because like choppers are like, it's all I know. I'm like, I do not know anything. Like, people will talk to me about, oh, do you watch this on the telly? No. What about this celebrity and this? Nah. I'm like, what's that? I'm like, I can tell you how to build a chopper though.
Yeah.
So,
which is cool.
Yes, but I've lost, like, from doing it, when you do it as your job, like I've been here 15 years now doing it. And then after a while you just start to, I don't know, you just lose love for it a bit. And I'm just like, I want to take a step back, I'm going to do a mundane job 3 days a week, then do this 2 or 3 days a week. And hopefully get more infused about it. Like, I don't even like go to bike shows anymore and hardly look around the bikes anymore, because I do it all day, every day. And I'm like, you know what? I used to really fucking enjoy this. And I love looking at details on people's bikes. And then this last year, I've just been like, got no interest in it. I'm like, I went to hook up and hardly looked at any bikes. I took 2 pictures, I think. And one of them was just when we were wasted drunk, and I thought it was funny. And I'm like, you know, I was like, I found it really sad now, because I used to go for the look at the bikes, and now I don't know. I'll get there.
I mean, I think with the future. So, like for me, for example, you know, I work 12-hour shifts, day and night shifts, and I've just obviously started doing like more research into how powerful social media is. I mean, there are guys out there that are making £3,000-4,000 in advertising alone on their video before the likes of YouTube pay them. You know, and
it's mad, isn't it?
I know, and this is what I mean. So it's like, I'm thinking, do you know what? Like, I can clearly sit and talk for hours. And for me, the idea of this is like the idea of people out there, because even though, like I've probably said this a few times, I don't know if you've heard it, but like for me, my following at the moment is 1,600 followers. But I'm reaching, on average now, I'm reaching in the region of 120 to 150,000 people monthly.
Yeah, nice.
Which is like, you know, so I say to people, even because obviously now I'm trying to reach out to find like people to work with, you know, like to try their products, to review them on my page, and I say to them, I say, look, and I'll screenshot it and I'll send them. I said, don't let my following fool you to how far my page is reaching, you know, and it's taking time, and I'm starting to slowly get there. And like I said, for me, the idea is if I can make a living doing this, doing social media, doing reviews on things, helping connect little smaller companies, even though you're not a small company, you've achieved masses of success in the industry. But however, we do have to respect the fact that the industry has moved from the magazines into the social media, and you know, hopefully Backstreet Heroes do continue, because obviously they've achieved unimaginable success, and you know, there are certain levels of the old school lads that have earned the right to remain where they are, you know. You know, this is not at all questioning what they've done, but and it's good that they've kind of because I know they are on social media, but they've not gone all in, sold their soul to they're kind of sticking to what they believe, which I think is great.
Yeah, things have definitely moved forward now, and I only have a tiny advert in Backstreet Heroes at the minute, because I can spend 20 quid on a Facebook advert or Instagram booster post, and I get way more work for it from that. I mean, you found me on Facebook and Instagram,
Well, I found you from watching what's that? I've forgotten. I keep forgetting the name. Yeah. Because obviously I watched Mint Customs, which obviously they did great on when they got onto Amazon Prime, which I thought was incredible for them. And then I followed them, and then obviously came across her when she built Jonesy for Shed Bike, which so it just show you that there still is a lot of, obviously you don't do this for the money, but at the end of the day you want to do it to know that you haven't got to worry about paying your bills, but the money is there. The money is in the scene, and it's kind of trying to find the balance.
Yeah, it's just trying to. I mean, I spoke to 4 other sort of localish bike shops to me, or people in the industry as well, and they're all of them are struggling at the minute. They're on their up with the custom stuff. I think it will come back round. I think the house inflation thing has made everyone's arse nip right up. It will come back round. I mean, there's always going to be money out there, but it's just trying to. I think it's trying to find a happy medium or tap into it, but I also don't want to. I don't want to be building bikes for multi-billionaires who just want it to look cool in their living room. I like all of my bikes are built to ride. You can get on any of my choppers that I've ever built, and you can ride it. And I don't really. I mean, obviously, I would build one for someone who just wants to sit in the living room. But I build a bike because I want to be. It's got to be out there in the wild. It's got to be seen. What's Zach said? Oh yeah, everything's struggling, But I think it will come back. I think next year maybe things will come spring. People will have to spend a bit more money again now after Christmas. I mean, Christmas is coming up, isn't it? So.
Yeah. That's it, isn't it? It's a bit wild, isn't it? It's but I say, mate, it's been so for people wanting to find you. Obviously, you're on all the social media platforms. You're on YouTube as well, which is you're all.
Yeah, just started doing YouTube videos. I thought sort of everyone else is doing it, so why not?
Do you know what, mate? It's it. I mean, for me personally, I love nothing more than watching a like a build breakdown, watching someone, and people love it. Videography, it's what I mean. It's crazy, you get people will tune in all the way. I mean, I watch Ralphie Customs. He's a national.
Yeah, I know Ralph.
Yeah, I've never met him, but I've been talking to him, trying to get him on the old podcast, but I know he's busy at the moment. He said he's got a few big projects on. Yeah,
he does some really nice work, Ralphie.
Yeah, I like. At the moment, he's just stretched out the frame on that dyno. Is it Harley Davidson dyno? He's just doing.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I believe I could be wrong. But I know he's just machined that piece and gone to a tubular with a custom made headstock and.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I've started doing a few videos now, because I'm on my Instagram, on the work page, I'll put some photos up of a build, and it will get 100 and. I don't know, say 100 likes or something, and I'll do a walk around video, and then I get 3,500 views and 3 times as many likes, and I'm like, okay, so people seem to like videos a lot more.
Honestly, for me, I did a video where I got both my kids were sat in the car with their fat camera phones, and they filmed me both sides on my ZX10, and the video that I put together did nothing. But all of a sudden, I took the clip where I ride up the side on the right side of the car. My missus is driving. Youngest is sat in the back with the phone, holding it on the side of the window.
Yeah,
and it's done near on 2,000 views. And it's only the fact that it's the second part of the video. And all it is I literally do a rolling shot. People love rolling shots. They love it. Yeah. I've got a lot more to learn about it all, but they love it. And it's crazy to think you go to all the effort of editing a video.
Yeah.
And it does nothing, but yet you take a fragment of it and just upload it with nothing on, and people are like, like that. You know, it's
just all the I don't understand all of the algorithm stuff. Like I've even got a TikTok account for work now and I'll put one video on there. I do a lot of videos like my mate Mike and that, who like my best mate we ride with. Because nobody ever films me. I just do all the filming because I'm the only one sketching up. I get their phone out and hold it while riding a chopper. But I do one video on there and I had like 5,000 views, and I'm like, this is mental. Then I'll do another one which is like a cooler video, and I'll get like 100 views. I'm like, how does this work? I'm like, this video is way better. But I mean,
the boys that are killing it in the UK last week of July.
Yeah,
they're killing it. You know, they've seen, and I think, and personally, I think what makes them doing it so well is they simply don't care.
Yeah,
they simply just appear to be a bunch of I mean, this is how they appear to me. They simply just appear to be a bunch of lads that literally do not care and just have a laugh and just chat rubbish and I think that's unfortunately, because there's so much scripted rubbish out there, so much attention seeking rubbish.
Yeah,
people
I know.
Appreciate that.
Absolute fucking legends, a lot of them,
They're up my way, aren't they? They're in Doncaster, aren't they, I believe?
Yeah. I mean, me and my mates are all the same. I just haven't started recording it yet, but
But you're getting there, it's...
Yes, it's like you say, it's just natural. You're just seeing people doing actually what they're supposed to do on bikes, choppers, ride fuck out of them, go and have a beer with your mates, have a laugh, don't care. It's just what they're for, just having fun, drink beer and have fun.
That's it, it's like for me, like doing this now, like I'm absolutely terrified of sitting in front of a camera, but you start to get like used to it, and at first when I had the first few comments of people chatting, I mean, luckily, people that do comment in the lives, it's great. It's great that everyone's nice and that. But on some of the pictures and that, you get all these stupid comments. And at first I was like, why? And then after I'm like, do you know what? You click on their profile and you're like, you don't even own a bike, and if you do, there's no picture.
I get that all the time. I'm like, obviously being younger as well, you get it all the time on Facebook and stuff. Some old dudes and they'll slag you off to fuck, and you click on their thing and he's like got a C50 or something. I'm like, okay. I'm like, cool. I'm like, you can slag me, but you don't even have a chopper.
Yeah, do you know, it's I think obviously, and this isn't, I think maybe because obviously for whatever reason they almost feel like we're ruining their thing. But like when you look at especially the likes of you, you're not altering anything. If anything, they should be coming to you and going, you're keeping it alive. Exactly what I was about to say.
Just keep it alive, I used to get that all the time, like me and my mates, obviously, because, I'm 30, I just wear the clothes I've always worn. I've always just worn checkered shirts and jeans or whatever. But then you get it online, you get slandered as like a hipster all the time. I'm like,
and
I'm not a hipster. I'm just not I wasn't born in the fucking 70s, so it's not, I can't help that I was born in 1993, mate.
Yeah.
I'm not a hipster. I'm just 30 years younger than you.
I'm wearing a Valentino Rossi Riders Academy hat.
Yeah.
I'm at the end of the day, for me, road bikes belong on a track. I don't like them on the road. It's not dissing any of the boys out there. I go up to you probably heard of Squire's Cafe up in Sherburn and Elm. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's been around. It's been around forever, like since the 70s. They moved venue a couple of times, but I go up there and it's squeaky leather dudes and with knee sliders that have never touched the floor apart from when they're helping their mate out in the toilets, and they're comparing chicken lines, and it's like, and then all of a sudden you see this old dude that's just come home from work. He's got duct tape up levers, like probably owned them since whenever whatever, on a bike that's got cable ties through it, of that nature of a super bike, and yet it's ridden. Like you can see the guy rides it, and it's like, if you want to do that, do it properly. Don't pretend to be something you're not. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think I know. I personally, that's why I don't like super bikes, because they walk around comparing credit cards. Oh, I've got a 1,500 quid exhaust system that gives me 0.1 horsepower. It's like, I got a can off eBay. 25 quid. All my stuff is all off eBay, and it's like, it does exactly the same job. Like,
yeah, exactly. And it's like, they say, what have you got to prove by telling somebody you've got a fucking $2,000 acropotic exhaust or whatever?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
When somebody says that to me, I'm just like, cool, that was stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you're like at top level racing, and that point, that 1 horsepower will make a big difference. Cool. But if not, I mean, I've got a guy up the road, Stuart. He does my sandblast, and he was, when he was younger, a good racer, track racer. Not like BSB level, but he's fast, and he's always said, I'll go to the track days and everyone puts the so and so this, so and so that, and they think it makes them go faster. He's like, you can go around there, a 600 bandit will go around a track faster, faster than most people will go around on a track day until they've got more experience. And like, you don't need the most expensive track tires, because the standard tires will probably outperform anything that you do. I mean,
yeah, that's it, isn't it?
I wouldn't go around a track. I'd be the slowest person ever on a track. I'd probably go around just as fast on my shovel as I would on a sports bike.
But the thing is like, at least you'd do it. I mean, a lot of these boys, they're not doing it. Before I rode on a road, I rode on a track, and don't get me wrong, I was never fast, but I did it.
Yeah. I've never done it. I've always wanted
to. Mate, I've had, at the age of, I grew up in Spain, so at the age of like 12, I got my ass kicked by like 6-year-olds. I'm not even bothered. But I was out there. I was in, used to save my money to buy a new tire and things like that. But yeah, anyway, mate, I think I've got people looking at me here going, what's going on? Because I think it's got things to do. But no, so obviously, again, people want to find you. They can find you on all your social media pages, and obviously, like you said in your post, you're not disappearing. You're just taking some time out.
Just a step back and having some spare time. I've worked 6 days a week for 15 years now, and I just want Saturdays back.
Yeah, mate. At the end of the day, and the thing is, it's like it will produce your best work.
Yeah, like, exactly.
100%. Like, all of a sudden, you will have time to find inspiration because you've taken a step back, and your work will just go to the next level. There'll be them parts that you've never seen. There'll be them parts that you've never been able to have time to find, that all of a sudden pop up on that one up, and you order them, or do you know what I mean? Everything happens for a reason. Yeah,
and I'll have more time to help me mates, and because I want to see this industry. I love choppers. I want to see everyone, I'd like to see everyone have a go on a chopper. So if anyone ever gets stuck with something, just ask me, I'll give you the best advice. I'm not one of these people who's going to start keeping trade secrets, No. So if you have advice on something, as long as it's not like 12 at night on a Sunday, I'm more than willing to give people advice on stuff, because you got to start somewhere. And, I'll share my knowledge. I'm more than happy to share my knowledge with people. So, yeah, if anyone wants some advice, just hit me up on my socials and I'll give you some advice.
Absolutely. And, at the end of the day, it's about keeping the culture going.
Yes, exactly.
It's full on. It's proper about keeping the culture going, because they want us off the road. They don't want us out there, and they certainly don't want us on chopped up bikes.
No.
But no, I appreciate you taking the time, Jay, to sit down with me, mate. It's and the thing is, like, everyone I sit down and talk to, like, I know it sounds crazy, maybe it's just me, but it's almost like I've known you for ages, and like all of a sudden I feel like you're my friend. It's like, I love it. I love it. But then maybe it's because I ain't got friends. I think everyone's my friend.
Same, man.
But no, mate, I wish you all the best, and I'll keep in contact with you, and hopefully next year as well, we'll get down to, I saw your shop on that video on YouTube. I was like, that is sick. Like, all them raked out choppers. I was like, that is me. I want some of that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I see it at some shows or something.
100%, mate. 100%. I mean, my plan is, as well, as I progress with this and I start learning to know what I'm doing a bit better, is I want to take this mobile. So I'm already got, like, next year I've got hopefully got a couple of beard conventions lined up, and I need to get a better laptop and better, learn a lot more about it. But the idea is I want, like, a set up like a gazebo at a show with, do you know what I mean? And just like grab, like, what have you got? And like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool. I think so, and I think it'd be a little bit different. You know, trying to be different in a world that's so saturated with information is hard.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, mate, I'm gonna leave you to it then, and I appreciate you taking your time.
No worries. Cheers for having me.
No, thank you, and like I say, I wish you all the best. And I'm gonna keep in contact with you anyway.
Keep in contact. Cool, man.
Well, thanks, bud.
Right, see you later.
Awesome.